Hi guys, welcome back. It's been a while. But I have gone and got myself a Venus flytrap. So yeah, I'm going to be planting this today. But if basically what I want to do is take it from the soil that's already been in and put it into some sphagnum moss. Now I know some people use peat, some people use yeah, some people use peat, some people use different types of moss, some people use well, and most things basically. But the soil it's in, it's been kind of neglected. It's been sat in the shop, the Orange DIY store. For those of you who live in the UK would know. Um, and yeah, so we're basically going to be taking it from the pot and putting sphagnum moss in. And the reason why we're doing that is because these plants they really prefer not a lot of nutrients in this in wherever they're sitting, and they like to sit in a lot of water. However, this time of the year, I need it to really go dormant because apparently, if we let it go dormant, when it regrows, your plant lives a lot longer. Apparently, so we're going to try it and see what it goes. I've never grown these before, so it's going to be kept in the greenhouse all the time. But yeah, any advice that anyone's got, please let me know. If I'm doing something wrong and it's gonna die, please let me know in the comments. It'll be very helpful. So yeah, but before we do that, like I said in the last video, I'm gonna give that greenhouse a good tidy because it's looking really bad, and we're getting close to potting season. Well, potting season, yeah. So yeah, so because we're going to start potting, I need to make sure that's very clear. So that's my first job. I will let you know when I'm done. Okay, so that's finally done. That was. I know when you're tidying up, just want to be planting and doing stuff when you're tidying. Oh, it was a job I've been putting off for ages, and I've done it now. It still doesn't look amazing. I'll just quickly show you. So I know it still looks a mess, but it looks a lot cleaner. All well, I wouldn't say cleaner, but emptier. And I'm going to use this for something in a minute. I'll show you. And then we've got a Madonna, which I sorted out last week. So yeah, so I am happy with that. A lot better. It feels a lot cleaner, a lot more thing. I'd need to clean the windows and stuff like that. They definitely need a clean, but I'll wait for it to get a tiny bit more warmer for that. Yeah, so I'm going to pot a few things today. Obviously, we're going to do the Venus flytrap. And we'll look at the cactus because I've been doing them completely wrong, and I'll tell you why. Yeah, so this year, what I'm doing is I'm using shot ball potatoes. Probably not ideal, but I'm going to do it anyway, and hopefully I don't lose a crop. And I'll show you what I've been doing to them all year, and we'll get them ready as well. Okay, so I'm going to add. I've never done this before. Okay, I've always wanted a Venus flytrap, and I have had one in the past, but I didn't do anything to it. I just left it on the windowsill. Now, after a lot of research, Venus flytraps do not like being on the windowsill. They like to be in the sun and light a lot. They need as much light as they can. Obviously, this time of the year in winter in obviously England, I don't know where you guys are, but they like to go through like a dormant period. And what they'll do, they'll break down to their kind of like almost blacky brownish. And a lot of people throw them away then because they think they're I'll just hang a bit. Yeah, they think they're dying, so they'll throw them. But what they do, and apparently they go into a dormant period and then they regrow. And what that does, that helps extend their life so they live longer. But what I'm going to put this one in a bigger pot because what I want to do, so I can keep it in this a lot longer. And what I want it to do is kind of spread and turn into 2 plants and then 3 plants, and then I can kind of like harvest them in that way and kind of build like a mini, I know, Venus flytrap farm. That'll be quite fun. So after research, it says don't use terracotta pots. Apparently the minerals get into the roots of this, and apparently these really do not like a lot of nutrients because they get the nutrients from obviously catching insects. So what we're going to do is feed them sphagnum moss. The sphagnum moss is the reptile version because apparently people feed reptiles moss. So I'm going to use this to fill this up. I've never done this before, so I'm going to fill it up roughly, make a little kind of like indent, take this out and expose all the way to the root, and then I'm going to put it in and then add a tiny bit of sphagnum moss around it. After that, I'm going to give it a tiny bit of water. But this time of the year, apparently, I don't want it to sit in water, but I want to keep it moist, if that makes any sense. Because otherwise, because it's cold and there's not a lot of sun, although these aren't prone to getting root rot, they still can get root rot. I'm still doing it. Root rot, quite easy. So, yeah. Okay, so let's get on to it. I've never felt this before, but yeah. It just feels weird planting something in this, but I suppose in the environment where the cactus lives, I suppose this is probably ideal for it. So yeah, in a boggy environment, isn't it? So I'm just adding it like that. I'll just add a bit more. I'm just going to break it up so it's not dense. So because I want the roots to breathe, so to speak. And obviously they're going to be in this for a very long time, because apparently I think with Venus flytraps you don't need to feed them, obviously, because obviously the main source is insects. So ideally I should be able to leave it in this and just keep watering it. So in the summer, I think when you do water them, they like to sit in kind of like water all the time. Like it's weird. So you put them in like a pot and fill it up, and as long as there's like about an inch of water in there, I think the roots just like to sit in the water. So, but for this time of the year, I think you just need to keep them moist. Whereas this moss feels very moist at the moment. So I'll still add a tiny bit of water, but I won't sit it in water. So I drain it through and it should just drain through naturally. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm just going to fill this to the top, because I think, yeah, the roots won't be too deep on the Venus flytrap. If anyone's got Venus flytrap, obviously this is just everything I've researched. I've never done this before, so everything I'm saying may be off, or maybe some obviously ideal way of doing this, or better soil or whatever. But the reason why I chose moss, because I think it's more of a natural approach. Whether it's the best way to go, I don't know. But I guess time will tell. And if it dies, I'll just have to get another one and try a different method. But if you do grow these, and you do grow them, especially in the UK or a colder climate, yeah, let us know if I'm doing something wrong. Because we're here to all help each other, aren't we? Ideally. And I suppose everyone has their own way of planting and doing things, so it just feels weird using this, but we'll go with it. So I've made a little indent there, so I'm just made a bit of an indent, so I'm just going to kind of like sit the roots kind of in there, but I don't want to compact it. Ugh. Yeah, so in the centre hopefully, and I'm guessing over time this moss will begin to break down as well, because I think they can sit in this moss for about 2 years, I think. 2 to 3 years. Don't quote me on that. And you can buy this moss, there is a dried square pack, probably a lot cheaper, and you just soak it in water and then it expands. Once it expands, then you can use it for planting. Right, so I'm going to move on to this one now. I'm a little bit making a mess in my clean greenhouse. Right, so I've never done this before. I'm going to try my best not to harm it. If I do apologise. And I'll be very sad. So I've tried drying it out, because I originally, when I bought it home, it was very dry and I had to water it. And it has been sat in the greenhouse for a little long, on the windowsill for a little longer than I hoped. Okay, so there we are. As you can see, it is nice and green. It looks healthy, but these aren't closing at the moment, so I think it's just been sat in the shop for a long time. Oh. So I'm just gently letting the soil drop off by itself and just exposing his roots. I don't want to force it because it's probably in a bit of a weak time at the moment because how it's been stored. And that is the problem with these. They just get left. A lot of plants in shops get left and neglected. And you can near some. So if you ever see a plant in a shop that looks like it's dying, going for like 10p, then bring it home and try and bring it back to life. Okay. Right, there's still, if we have a look, very delicate at the moment. Right. You're just trying to bite me. Okay, yeah, so these are the roots. I'm not gonna, I mean, you probably could clean them off, but I don't want to handle them too much because they're obviously very delicate at the moment. That looks like there is new growth here, which is a good sign. So I'm going to place them in best I can and then put a tiny bit more on and just let them sit on top. And I suppose as I get bigger, I could probably add more moss out over time, I suppose. But yeah, looks like there's a new one coming through now. Right, let's move this. So that indent, I'm just going to kind of set them now. Don't try not to compact it. I don't want these to go quite deep into the pot because they like to sit into water, and the pot is a bit bigger than probably I should have used. I want to make sure the roots are in water. I'm going to try and naturally put them down. Probably making this a lot harder than what it should be. Alright, and I'm just going to kind of lift it up a bit and put just some more of some levels of moss. Separate it up. I suppose it's kind of like soil really, because when you plant something with soil, you don't want to compact it, you want the roots to be able to spread. And as we know in pots, when you plant in soil, the soil tends to drop down anyway, so we tend up adding more when the plant matures a bit more. Or that's if you're not moving it. Ooh. I mean, it looks happier and more natural, I suppose. I'll show you a better shot in a minute. I'll just quickly finish putting these in. I don't know. I suppose because this is quite fresh as well, so it's. I suppose in the environment, they're just sitting like kind of like a swampy, boggy area, don't they? Catching their flies and insects. It'll be interesting to see how this changes. I'm guessing now it's supposed to go dormant, so if it does die off, I'm going to hope that's natural, and I'm going to leave it, and hopefully, I think it's around about end of March, it does come back to life apparently. But the dormant period should have been before this. I think I've waited. It should have been at the probably December. It should have started, but whether it'll go into it now, I don't know. Okay, moss everywhere. Oh, it's on my greenhouse. I should have just used that, shouldn't I? Alright, okay, and a bit more there. Now, like I said, I'm 100% not an expert when it comes around to these plants. This is my first time doing this, so anyone has any advice, please let me know. But I think it looks quite nice. I think it looks natural. I think it looks happier. I mean, if plants smile, I think sure it'd look like that. So, but yeah, so I'm just going to drop a little bit of water on this. Another thing, when we do water these, it has to be rainwater. It can't be tap water. So, well, the same with most plants, really, but yeah, but especially with these. So, right, I'm going to get this watered, and then I'll tell you a little about the cactus and how I've messed up with them. Okay, so I've added the water, I've poured it in, I've put quite a lot through just to drain and get all the moss wet. I'm now going to take it out and just literally just leave it on the side. And I'm going to, I think roughly probably in the winter, once a week, I'm guessing. If that's too less, I don't know. I'll give that a quick research, but I think it's like once a week. And then obviously when it starts growing in the summer, I think you got to keep it watered. See how much water's in that. You basically just got to sit it in that like that, and probably a bit more actually, and just let it enjoy the water. Okay, right. That's there, all happy. You get all the sun in the world, and hopefully catch lots of insects. Obviously not too many because we do need some for the plants, but enough to keep itself nice and fed. Okay, cactus. This is how I've been keeping my cactus, I don't know which one it is, plural, I suppose. But this is how I've been keeping them in winter. Now, if you do grow these, you'll probably be shouting at the screen and telling me off, which I completely understand. So after a bit of research, I've realised that these obviously need sort of a desert environment. The soil they're in isn't that good, but I'm not too worried about that at the moment. I can try and sort that out as they mature or start adding different types of soil to it. But basically, these need to go really, really dry before you add a tiny bit of water. However, in the winter, I don't think you're supposed to water them at all, not one bit. And what happens is the outside here, it becomes a little bit shriveled. And it's something to do with the sugars and like an antifreeze. And then when summer comes around again, or spring, you start watering them just very slightly. So you water them and then let them really dry out, which is completely different to the Venus flytrap. We need to keep that watered all the time, whereas this one, we only water it every now and then, which sort of makes sense because it is a cactus. I grew these from seeds, and obviously I've never grown them before. So I just chopped them in. I didn't think they were going to grow. You know, when you get them for Christmas, you're like, oh, right. And I grew them, and they're growing. And these are probably a year old now. I've just sort of forgotten about them. And I wish I hadn't now, because I hope I haven't ruined them. So what I'm going to do, I'm literally just going to take them out and just let them dry out through winter. And then start adding just a tiny bit of water once every week, 2 weeks, or whatever. So basically, yeah, you water it and when the soil goes really dry. So that's kind of what we're going to do. And at the moment, there's a lot of moss on here, which would probably be ideal for the for the Venus flytrap, but not for these. So let's take these out. And there we go. This is how they'll sit. Sitting in that is not good for a plant, so I feel really bad for neglecting this. Same with the cacti. If you have any experience with them, I need anything because I'm learning as I go, and sometimes you just because you plant so much and you do so much, you forget about the other plants, and especially the ones you don't usually grow. So, but they're in the corner now, and I think they shall do fine. Hopefully, all that moss will die off as the soil dries out. I could just pick it out, So yeah, fingers crossed. I will keep you updated with these. Yeah, we'll keep you updated with these, as we'll do with the rest of the stuff that we're growing. If you do want an update and you haven't had an update for a while, just let me know in the comments and I will chuckle in the next video, definitely. Right, so one more thing. So I've been collecting shot bought potatoes. A lot of gardeners aren't going to like it. But I'm going to try them this year as an experiment to see if there is any difference, okay? So yeah, it'll be interesting. So I've collected loads. My wife has made me obviously throw them out if the ones that are gone. So instead of throwing them in the bin, we can put use to them. And maybe the ones, say you grow some and they don't grow that well, we can maybe keep them for the following year and then replant them, and hopefully we'll get a good crop. So I'll just show you what we've done. Okay, so what I've done is I've built this kind of unit. Oh, I'm crouching down too much. So I've built this unit here, as you can see. Not built it, I've just put two shelves together. So basically, what we usually do when we get potatoes ready this time of year, we usually put them in eggshells and maybe leave them on the windowsill or something like that. I'm just going to rest them on there and hope they'll start kind of, producing their little green things, little root things that comes. I forgot what they call them. Sorry, but yeah. So I'm going to lay them all on there. I've got absolutely loads. I'm probably not going to need this many, but if they start rotting or say some mice eat them or something like that, at least I know I've got many extra. So right. So as you can see, I have a lot. I haven't got as much as what I thought I had, to be honest, but there is still a lot there. I'm just going to change my gloves. Well, I'm going to also gingerly. I wanted to try and, this is supermarket shop bought ginger as well. So I'm going to try and grow that as well this year. I've never grown ginger. And you may ask why I'm doing all this supermarket stuff as well. And the reason why is because, we do throw a lot of veg and stuff like that. And if we can save some of it and replant it, we're saving ourselves money. Also, it's good to grow your own veg from your crop. And obviously buying seeds to start off with, but not everyone can afford that. And if you buy a bag of potatoes, for example, and you're not going to use them, and say you've left them in a cupboard too long, and they're soft and they can't use them, then even if you live in a little flat and you've got a tiny garden or a balcony, you could throw these in a bag and just with a bit of soil and just grow them, and then you got more potatoes and it's for free. So makes sense. So I'm going to add these to that them chalving, and hopefully they'll start. Most of them started sprouting anyway, as you can see. That one's probably been there for a very long time, but I'm not ready to plant yet. So I think the mice have had that one. And if you do get something like that, don't still plant it. It's still going to grow. It's just a seed basically that's just been nibbled up. For some reason I got loads of little ones. I must have been, I don't know, you just randomly collect them. So I think I've just been collecting any random ones. But I was thinking, if you guys would like, let me know in the comments and I'll do it. But want me to kind of put these in some sort of a tray or something like that? Sorry, I didn't mean tray. In a pot, a big pot. Just kind of throw them in with soil and just see what happens, see if they grow, see if we get any big potatoes we get or something like that. I think that would be a fun idea. So let us know. Let us know if you want to do it. Right, I'll just show you these. So these are the ones I'm going to be planting. There you go. The reason why we do this, to be honest, I'm not too sure. My theory. Oh, sorry. There we go. Yeah, my theory behind it, obviously, is because it allows. If they're in a bag, obviously they can't dry out, so we want them to kind of dry and kind of softish in a way. And potatoes hold a lot of moisture. If they're in a bag or close together, they tend to start rotting, and we don't want that. And obviously, we want them to be exposed to the sun because it is a seed, obviously. Yeah, and just give that air to allow them not to rot, to dry out nicely. Kind of like what you do with all seeds, I suppose. Obviously, but here we're not drying out, we're trying to encourage them really. So if you see on the end of that, oh, I don't know the camera. Yeah, oh, get in focus. Yeah, so that one there, and got a few more. Obviously, you'll know these because if you leave them in the kitchen cupboard too long, you'll always get them anyway. But if you do, as I said, at home, if you do, and you've got some kitchen cupboard, grab a pot or a bag, fill it with soil, throw lemon. Soil doesn't even have to be amazing, just any type of soil. And potatoes will love it. They'll just grow and they'll help break that soil down anyway, and you can just reuse that soil. Obviously feed it, add more compost to it, and you'll have amazing soil. So I always do that. So if there's any beds that aren't doing so well, I tend to just put a batch of potatoes in, and next year the soil's all broken down. Okay, so that's it for this video. I know it was quite compact and probably a bit long. That Venus flytrap will do very well, and the cactus will survive. Hopefully, that's what I'm hoping. We don't want them today. Obviously, that's a year effort put into them. Most time they've sat on the windowsill. So, and I bought them in here probably midwinter, and just sat them in that part which you saw. So yeah. So just to clarify, any tips, please help. Let me know if you want me to plant them some more potatoes, and any updates for anything like the garlic or spring onions or anything like that. They're not doing much at the moment, so I haven't had them. But anything, just let us know in the comments, and yeah, I'll put it in the next video. So until next time, I'll see you later, and thank you very much for watching, and remember to subscribe. See you later.